Please tell me that y'all did not hear me singing as loud as I actually was singing.
There's a lot of people singing.
I know. Wasn't that the greatest, though?
No, it was. It was like, I was just happy with all the children there that were just getting to see it again through them.
Well, it's also like the first time seeing it with young kids. It's like, oh wow, this is like, even the original Lion King is there's a, you know, people think of the funny stuff, but there's a big emotional roller coaster in it, and with all the young kids, and they were hanging in there. I was like, is this too much? It's like, is this too, because it's photo real, you know? So it's like, but and you've always been really encouraging about that, because you're going through it. Now you got your, you know, you got your circle of life going.
But it's such a great. You forget, like this morning, my son was running around the house being a lion all morning.
Oh, was he raw? Was he raw?
Yeah, I mean, like, wouldn't come to breakfast unless I was like, hey, breakfast is ready. He's like, awesome. Rah. I'm like, lion, breakfast is ready. Like, thank you. Okay, now I can eat. Like, you forget how important this movie is, because it sets up, I don't know, it gives you a narrative. It's such a simple narrative for like the rest of your life. You understand, it's like, oh, we're part of this thing that keeps going. It's great.
It's interesting though, because you told me last night that you weren't going to tell him that you were in the film.
Yeah.
And then you said you want to go see it, and he said, oh yeah, because Beyonce's in it.
He said, oh yeah, Beyonce's in it? Like, kind of like, that's the one with Beyonce, right?
Let me clarify. Did you ever tell him before, or did he see last night and recognize
my voice?
Dad is Simba.
That was last night. He gave me the when I came on screen, he was like, he gave me the double take a couple times. I kept looking, and, you know, and my wife was like, oh, he's getting it. Like, it was really special. I don't know how that's ever gonna happen ever again in the history of like human beings. Where I'm like, I know the movie, he knows the movie.
Yes,
you know, it's crazy.
It's so ironic too, because I know I was introduced to Donald originally through my son, who had his picture up on his wall.
Oh, I love it.
And then also my daughters, my wife, you know, such Beyonce fans. So I was introduced to all of this through that.
It's the circle of life,
it is.
baby.
It really
is.
It really
the circle of life.
Yeah.
For sure. I know both of you all, I mean, you both walked out of there with your kids as king last night, especially hearing, there was that moment when it was the transformation from young Simba to you. And people lost their collective
I couldn't believe
minds.
They were yelling and then trying to be quiet so they could hear it. And that's
that people were like a little.
It's that edge, and I know that from working on comedies, because when a comedy works, that's exactly it. People laugh and then choke the laugh off.
Yeah, because they want to hear. They don't want to miss anything. That whole Timon and Simba. I mean, Timon and Pumbaa with Simba, where he's like, ha ha ha, what? Like all that. I was dying. I was like, people are really laughing so hard that they're trying to listen to. Like,
I was doing it. I was like, but I don't want to miss. So now I know I have to go see it again. I'm going to go at like that first show at 9 a.m. when I'm hopefully by myself and I can just watch it. Did you get to introduce your son to Beyonce since he knew? Did he get to meet her?
He was so tired.
Oh, he was done.
Like he was so done. But he met. I mean, like, well, she was behind us, so like Ivy Blue was like kind of narrating the movie. She's like, Scar, like, like kind of thing. Like, he's lying. And my son was like, what? Like, who is that?
I love that Blue Ivy was talking back to the film.
I know, she was.
Don't trust him. Stay out the elephant graveyard.
She knew the movie already. It was awesome.
I love it so much.
I mean, like, Jon is very aware of like the uncanny valley and like how movies work and how they should feel. Like, he's a very organic guy. Like, I'm gonna
talk about him like he's not in the room.
That's all right. You don't want to hear it.
Freak me out.
We can talk about him like he's not in the room.
He's really good at that, and I think right now, speaking to the circle of life, it's really important to know, like, we're moving so fast. And we're losing recipes a little bit. Like, we're kind of losing, like, all the flavor of, like, why people even did certain things in certain places for certain reasons. And with filmmaking, the magic of it is the collaboration and how you make it. And the fact that he was able to bring all the best parts of filmmaking into a game engine and make it feel so... I mean, when he had me put those glasses, I was like, this is how movies should be made by now. Like, I try and do that with any work I do, Like
well, you cross over so many different things. You got the kind of brain where you could see something, or something with music inspired something in cinema for you, or something. And I like that you came from. We were talking even before you came in here. The fact that you worked in a writer's room, like in a comedy writer's room, which is, there's nothing precious about that at all. It's about just, let's get together, let's make it funny, and let's move on, and the show must go on. And then you got Atlanta, where you're a filmmaker, and also coming from all of that. And I knew part of the hope with showing you that stuff, because it wasn't just about, okay, let's perform, but then we would spend a long time in the lab on in the volume. With somebody like you, once you see what tools are out there and what's available, I know it's going to inspire something with you.
It's so important. Like, people, I don't think people will know for a little bit, like a couple of years, and they'll look back and be like, oh, like this movie was it.
Transformative.
And I'm so glad it's him, and I'm so glad it's The Lion King.
But there's,
you know,
but there is stuff out there that people don't know is fake too, because that's also good. Like, you could use it to tell a good story, to bring people together, but there's also, you can't always trust what you're seeing sometimes, because it's, you know, they could make, we're right at that edge where it becomes indistinguishable. So it's good to see what it could be used for, but I think it's also good for people to understand what how powerful the technology is now, and understanding that you got to make sure you know what you're watching, and know that it's not, you know, you're not being misled.